Hello, welcome to another episode of Field of Screams podcast. Today I just want to talk about briefly a movie I caught. I went to watch Godzilla Minus One. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was movie of the year. And I heard that the company that made Godzilla Minus One had another film out called Shin Godzilla. So I was like, oh, I have to give Shin Godzilla a try. Once again, Godzilla Minus One was fantastic. So I had to go seek out this movie and I had to watch it. Now this movie, I guess, is a satire film that is supposedly... It was inspired by how the Japanese government reacted to an earthquake and a natural disaster that happened in Japan. Okay, I'm looking here. It was an earthquake and a tsunami that happened. It happened in 2011. And I guess it also drew inspiration by a nuclear accident. So I watched this film, and it takes place in Japan. And you kind of just get the perspective. This whole movie is the perspective of the government officials, which is very different than a lot of disaster movies I see. Now, when I say government officials, you might be saying, like, well, there's some movies where there's an expert in so-and-so, and he has to help create a plan to defeat this monster. Like, yeah, like, I gotcha. But I don't think it's like this movie did. So how this movie does it. Like, literally, you're watching Japan go about their daily business, and then all of a sudden, like, the waters start getting a little high, and then, we all know Godzilla. But, this creature that rises out of the water, like, it's not the Godzilla that we know. Think of it as kind of like baby larva Godzilla. As this thing was going, I was like, what in the world? Is that supposed to be Godzilla? What is that? And at first, like, I was almost disappointed. But then I'm like, wait a minute. Like, this isn't final stage Godzilla. Like, this is just, like, almost brand new baby Godzilla. Like, literally, this thing is, like, clumsy. It's, like, falling on skyscrapers, causing a lot of destruction, causing the ocean to flood the land, wrecking boats, wrecking cars. But while it's doing all this wrecking, literally, the creature has no idea that it's causing this destruction. It's just like a little baby, gigantic creature. So it's stumbling, tumbling through the city, destroys everything in its path. And then it goes back into the water. Now, once it does this, we kind of meet our main characters, the government officials. And it's kind of funny because, you witness this destruction and how fast-paced it is. And then you go to a room. And the government officials all kind of walk. They walk to another room together. But the camera stays on them to where they are, like, taking their time. They all sit down. They all get their stuff out. And then they just have discussions on how can you stop this. And there's one character who's like, we aren't moving fast enough, which is kind of what I'm poking fun at. But in everyone's defense, like, if Godzilla really did rise out of the water, I don't think a lot of people would know what to do. Like, literally during the first attack, there's like these helicopters that are out hovering above Godzilla. And there's like citizens right there. And the helicopter's like, should we open fire? What should we do? And the leader, like, hesitates, and he hesitates too long, and he tells them, like, no, don't shoot. We don't want to, like, kill more people. And then the guy, like, comes back later in the film, because I guess scientists figured out, like, oh, if they would have shot him, they would have killed it. And the guy's like, yeah, maybe if you would have pulled the trigger, we would have prevented all this stuff from happening. And it's like, dude, chill out. Like, this is literally uncharted territory this dude is going through. But yeah, like, this movie, it gets pretty crazy because Godzilla literally adapts to every single thing that gives it resistance. So, for example, baby Godzilla's stumbling, tumbling through the city because it's trying to go, like, on all fours. Godzilla learns how to stand on two legs and walk. Helicopters attack baby Godzilla. When Godzilla comes back as bigger Godzilla, it now has a self-defense system that destroys the helicopters in the sky. It was really cool. And I know a lot of people are really big on Godzilla's atomic breath. I thought Godzilla Minus One, that atomic breath was awesome. This one is just as awesome, if not maybe better. I don't know. Both of them are phenomenal when it happens. So if you're like, ooh, how's the atomic breath? Like, oh, go check it out. It is fantastic. Once Godzilla just starts causing mayhem, it's just like, where does this movie go? And how do they stop him, I don't want to spoil it, because I feel like Shin Godzilla is not a movie that's seen by a lot of people, and a lot more people should go watch it, because again, it's great. If you like Godzilla -1, I wouldn't call it better than Godzilla -1, but it is in terms of quality, it's up there. Like it's kind of nipping at the heels a little bit. So definitely go check it out. I just wanted to put this episode out there for those who like Godzilla, and if they were unsure about whether they were going to watch Shin Godzilla or not, definitely go check it out. It's great. There's funny parts. There's even a part to where this girl in this movie, like they're all talking Japanese, you're reading the subtitles, and then this Japanese woman in this film, she just randomly busts out with English words. I don't know, I was kind of just like, oh, they're all talking Japanese, and all of a sudden she says phrases in English. Why is she doing that? I later talked to a girl from Japan, and she said that while she lived there, they would sometimes, when they talk, like they'd be talking in Japanese, and then they would just say a certain phrase in English. She said it was common there. So I don't know if I have a lot of Japanese listeners. Is it like that in Japan? I'm legitimately curious, because if it is like that, that's kind of cool. But I don't know. I kind of went off on a tangent. But yes, if you haven't watched Shin Godzilla, go check it out. Great film. I definitely recommend it. And I'm just going to leave off on this episode on that note, because it definitely needs to be seen. I thought it was fantastic. It's great. Godzilla's great. Atomic breath is phenomenal. The destruction's fun. I like the characters, and I like the angle of following around government officials while they're trying to solve this disaster. Fun stuff. Well, guys, until next time.